Your mind is a garden, and every thought is a seed. If you plant bitterness, you will harvest sorrow. If you plant gratitude, you will reap joy. And just as the farmer does not leave his field to chance, so must you be vigilant with the soil of your soul. Aristotle spoke of excellence, not as an act, but as a habit. And habits begin with thought, what you repeatedly think you become. And so the wise tend to their minds as carefully as the sacred groves of Apollo. For the quality of your life flows from the quality of your thoughts. Do not let weeds grow unchecked. Do not water envy or pride or fear, for these will choke the roots of peace and poison the fruit of your action. Instead, cultivate patience, humility, reason, and love. These are the sacred herbs of the philosopher king. Socrates knew this well. He walked the streets of Athens, not to boast in knowledge, but to awaken the minds of men. He asked not to shame, but to guide. He knew that an unexamined life is like a wild garden, beautiful by accident, but dangerous by neglect. To examine your life is to walk daily through your inner world and ask, what have I allowed to grow? Here, is this thought worthy of my attention? Is this judgment rooted in truth or ego? Am I nourishing clarity or confusion? Am I planting compassion or control? Epictetus taught that we are not disturbed by things, but by the views we take of them. A storm may rage, but it cannot touch your soul unless you open the door from within so close that door gently and open the windows to peace, to virtue, to clarity. Plato saw the soul as a chariot pulled by two horses, one noble, the other wild, and reason is the charioteer. To master your mind is to guide the horses toward the summit of truth. To let the wild horse run unchecked is to fall into chaos, but to master both is to rise to the divine. And how does one master the mind? Not by force, but by attention, by daily care, by silence and study and reflection, by replacing the noise of the world with the music of meaning. Not all thoughts are yours, not all are worthy. Choose them as carefully as a sculptor chooses his stone. Heraclitus said, character is destiny, and character is shaped first in the mind. What you allow to dwell within becomes what you express without. If you feed resentment, you will speak in anger. If you nourish understanding, you will act in harmony. So begin each day like a gardener, rise with the sun and ask, what will I grow? Today will I nourish stillness or stir chaos? Will I plant wisdom or waste? Will I allow the winds of the world to scatter my focus? Or will I tend to my soul with purpose and care? Marcus Aurelius returned to this every morning, reminding himself that he was born not for luxury, but for labor, not to chase comfort, but to practice virtue, not to be swayed by the folly of others, but to rise by his own inner compass. And so must you, because your mind is the first temple you enter, and the last place you leave. It is where gods whisper and demons lurk. It is where battles are fought, long before swords are drawn. And if you master your thoughts, you master your fate. To think clearly is to live clearly, to see life not through the fog of desire or fear, but through the clean glass of wisdom. And when you think well, you live well. And when you live well, you plant seeds in the souls of others that may bloom long after you are gone. So walk your garden. Now remove what does not belong. Give water to the noble. Give sunlight to the true. And in time, your life will be a place of peace where others come, not just to admire, but to grow. Endurance is not the absence of pain. It is the mastery of it. It is the quiet strength that does not shout, the resolve that does not need recognition. It is what remains when all else is stripped away, when the world says, give up, but your soul whispers, just one more step. Socrates stood calmly before his accusers because he had trained his soul to be indifferent to what he could not control. He did not argue with fate. He aligned himself with it. He knew that true endurance was not mere suffering. It was understanding the purpose behind the trial. In this life, storms will come. They are not signs of failure, but invitations to grow. Marcus Aurelius said the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way, and so your hardship is not the end. It is the beginning of transformation. Endurance does not mean you must harden your heart. It means you must widen it to hold both pain and peace within the same breath, to carry sorrow with grace and joy, without attachment. It is the art of becoming stronger, not in body alone, but in spirit. Think of the mountain. It does not fight the wind. It holds its place, unmoved by the changing sky. You too can be this still, this rooted in your principles, your values, your inner truth. You too can withstand the noise, the pressure, the chaos, without losing your center. Heraclitus taught that struggle is the father of all things, and the hidden harmony is better than the visible one. So do not resent the weight you carry. It is shaping you. It is chiseling away all that is weak, false, or unnecessary, until only truth remains. The Stoics did not ask for an easier life. They asked for a stronger character. And you have within you this same fire, this same possibility to cultivate endurance, not through denial, but through devotion to a higher aim. When you choose to endure, you are not surrendering to the storm. You are choosing to walk through it, awake, aware, and unbroken. You are proving to yourself that your soul is greater than your circumstance. Your purpose is larger than your pain. Epictetus said, difficulties are things that show a person who they are. And when you stand before hardship and do not run, you are introduced to the deeper you, the version forged in silence, strengthened in solitude, and revealed in the moment when you refuse to quit. The path of endurance is not always heroic. It is often humble. It is rising early when you feel tired. It is speaking truth when it would be easier to stay silent. It is choosing virtue again and again, even when no one is watching. This world will test your resolve. It will ask if your values are real or convenient, and your answer will not come in words, but in how you hold the line, in how you endure, not with bitterness, but with clarity, not with pride, but with peace. Plato believed that the soul is formed through struggle, and you are in the process of this forming. Right now, each day is your forge, and each trial a tool. And when the moment comes, when you look back on your life, you will see that your endurance was not a burden, but a blessing. So when you feel tired, walk slowly, but do not stop. When you feel alone, remember that every great soul walked the same path. When you feel overwhelmed, return to your breath, your body, your being, and know that to endure is to become more than what you were. You are being shaped not into someone hard and cold, but someone luminous and deep, someone who can hold the weight of the world with quiet dignity and unshakable love, someone whose life is a living testament that the soul can outlast any storm. This is the virtue of endurance, not survival, but transformation, not repression, but revelation, not escape, but embodiment. So hold steady, breathe deep, and remember, you are not breaking, you are becoming. If you felt inspired by our journey through the Hellenic horizons, give a thumbs up, subscribe, and share your thoughts below.